In the creaky, overheated barn where the rural dog auction took place, the air buzzed with low conversations, barking, and the shuffle of boots on concrete. The crowd was made up of breeders, bidders, and businessmen, people who saw dogs as property, currency, or tools. The room smelled of hay, damp fur, and metallic sweat. But everything froze when the door creaked open and a little girl stepped in alone. She couldn't have been more than 11. Her dress was faded. Her knees scraped, her dark hair tangled from the wind. She was barefoot, tracking dust across the concrete floor. But she didn't seem to notice. In her hand, dangling from a frayed ribbon, was a silver military medal that caught the sunlight as she walked. Her expression was unreadable, half brave, half broken, but there was no mistaking her intent. She moved straight toward the kennels, weaving to the crowd with a solemn grace that felt out of place among the shouting men and barking dogs. Whispers followed her, curious, confused, but no one stepped in her way. There was something sacred about her stillness, something that demanded silence. She didn't flinch. She didn't look back. She had come for something or someone, and nothing in that hall could turn her away. A tall, broad-shouldered man in a dusty blazer, the auction judge, spotted her moving toward the kennels. With a firm stride, he stepped in front of her, ready to escort the barefoot girl outside. "This is no place for children," he said sharply. But before he could guide her away, his eyes dropped to the medal she clutched. It was no toy. A silver star, unmistakable, worn, but still gleaming faintly under flickering overhead lights. He froze. "Where did you get this?" he asked, softer now. The girl looked up, her face steady. "My dad earned it," she replied. "He died in Kandahar. This is all I have left, and I'm here to find his partner." The judge's stern expression cracked as the truth hit him. The crowd, once noisy, grew still. Buyers and handlers lowered their voices. Some removed their hats. The medal didn't just shine, it spoke. It carried grief, honor, and the weight of a child's love. In that moment, no one questioned her right to be there. The judge stepped aside, eyes damp, and let her continue forward. With unwavering steps, the girl made her way past rows of barking, restless dogs until she stopped in front of kennel number 9. Inside, slumped against the back wall, was a graying German shepherd. His coat had dulled with age, patches of fur thinning around his hips. His ribs pushed slightly against his skin, and his eyes, cloudy and distant, seemed to carry the weight of every mission he'd endured. He didn't react to the crowd or the noise. He looked defeated. A nearby handler chuckled dismissively. "That one? He's useless now. Won't fetch, won't respond. Just lies there waiting for nothing." But the girl didn't flinch. She dropped to her knees and leaned in close to the bars. "Tango," she whispered, her voice shaking. The dog twitched. One ear lifted, then the other. Slowly, his head rose. His nose twitched. He pushed himself up with effort, his joints stiff, and limped forward until his snout pressed through the metal. His cloudy eyes locked onto hers with sudden clarity. His tail thumped, slowly at first, then faster. A soft, broken whine escaped his throat, the kind of sound only made when memory rushes back. The judge, watching closely, stepped forward. He leaned down, eyes scanning the faded tattoo etched into the dog's ear. His voice caught as he whispered, "That's Sergeant Wells K-9. That's Tango." Lily stood up slowly, her small hand still resting on the bars of the kennel. As Tango pressed his weight against him, the room remained silent. Dozens of eyes locked on her. Her voice was soft, but steady, every word etched with something deeper than grief. "His name is Tango," she said. "He served with my dad, Sergeant Wells. They were part of a U.S. Army K-9 unit in Kandahar." A murmur rippled through the room. "My dad said Tango was more than a dog. He called him his shadow, said they went everywhere together." She took a breath. One day, they were on patrol. Tango stopped him, alerted to an IED just outside a village school. My dad radioed it and made everyone fall back, but he didn't make it. Tango survived. He was injured, discharged. Her fingers tightened around the cage bars. We tried to bring him home, but something got lost, the paperwork, the system. No one could tell me where he went. Her voice trembled now. "I thought I'd never see him again. Until last week, When I overheard a rescue worker mention an old K9 being auctioned off, I knew it had to be him. She glanced down at Tango, who hadn't taken his eyes off her since she'd spoken his name. He was my dad's best friend, and I promised I'd find him. A tense hush settled over the room as the auctioneer cleared his throat, ready to begin the bidding on kennel number 9. But something had shifted. One by one, the bidders began stepping back. A man in a sharp suit, a wealthy breeder known for never losing auction, raised his hand, and for a moment, people held their breath. But he didn't speak. Instead, he slowly removed his cap and placed it solemnly over his heart. Another buyer leaned toward the auctioneer and whispered, "Let the girl take him." No voices argued. No numbers were called. The silence was profound. The auctioneer looked uncertain, eyes scanning the room. "Any official bids?" he asked. None came. The judge, still near Lily, stepped forward. His voice was firm but heavy with emotion. "This medal," he said, pointing to the silver star in her hand, "is worth more than any check in this room." Then, breaking every auction rule ever written, he descended from the platform, walked over to Lily, gently took her small hand in his, and unlatched the kennel door. The judge, still kneeling beside the cage, looked up at Lily, his voice rough with emotion. "Do you have any means to place a bid?" She hesitated, then slowly extended her hand, revealing the tarnished silver star. "This is all I have," she whispered. "It belonged to my dad. It's the only thing I have left of him." Her hand trembled slightly, but her eyes didn't. "Tango saved my father once. Now, I want to save him." The judge stared at the medal, the worn edges and faint scratches, as if it carried every heartbeat of her father's sacrifice. Then his gaze shifted to Tango, the once broken dog who now sat tall, ears perked, eyes locked on the girl. He trembled, not with fear, but with recognition and longing, like a soldier standing at attention. The crowd stood motionless. Some held their breath. Others wiped away silent tears. No one interrupted. No one dared. The air in the auction hall felt sacred, thick with reverence. In that moment, the clamor of sales, the numbers, the business of dogs, all of it vanished. Only one thing mattered: a girl, a medal, and the loyal friend she'd come to reclaim. The cage door creaked open, and for a moment, Tango hesitated. His old legs shook, his body unsure after years of confinement and confusion. But then Lily knelt, arms open, her voice barely above a whisper. "Come here, boy, it's okay now." Tango took one cautious step, then another, and finally limped forward into her embrace. The moment his head touched her chest, something inside him released a long, aching sigh that spoke of battles fought, friends lost, and time stolen. Lily wrapped her arms around him tightly, her small frame trembling with silent tears. She buried her face in his fur, and he leaned all his weight into her, as if afraid she might vanish. The crowd watched in silence. No applause came. It didn't feel right to intrude. What unfolded before them wasn't a performance. It was something sacred. A reunion forged in war, loss, and undying love. A man in the back removed his cap. A woman stepped forward quietly and handed Lily a sturdy leash. Another offered a bag of dog food without a word. No one needed thanks. They were witnessing something pure, something rare. As Lily stood, Tango by her side, tails gently swaying, people stepped aside to make way. And as they walked out together, the dusty hall felt lighter somehow. Not a single person left unchanged. Months later, the quiet act of love between a girl and a forgotten dog became a story the world couldn't ignore. A local journalist had witnessed the reunion and wrote a heartfelt piece titled, Asterisk, Orphan Girl Reunites with Fallen Father's K9 Partner. Asterisk, within days, the story went viral. News stations picked it up. Strangers around the world were moved to tears. Donations flooded in, not just money, but letters, care packages, and offers of support. In honor of Sergeant Wells, a foundation was launched, the Shadow Project, aimed at reuniting retired service dogs with the families of their fallen handlers. Lily became the face of it. Tango, her constant companion, stood beside her at every event, tail wagging, eyes softer than ever. For 2 beautiful years, they were inseparable. Then one quiet night, Tango passed peacefully at the foot of Lily's bed. He was warm, loved, and home. Today, the silver star hangs in a shadow box next to his collar and paw print, a tribute not only to a soldier's courage, but to a little girl's promise kept, a promise of loyalty, love, and a bond death couldn't break.